So this is week 15. We're going to take a look at area and perimeter. So the main difference between area and perimeter is when you're adding up the length of all the sides in a shape. Okay, it's kind of like if you were going to build a fence, around your yard. How many feet of fence would you need to go all the way around your yard? You're not filling your yard with fence. You're just putting a fence around the edge. That's perimeter. Okay, area, that's what would fill the shape. All right, so like let's say you're going to put tile down on this floor. Okay, that's area. Because you're not just putting tile on the edges of the floor. You're filling the entire floor with tile. Right, so that's the area. Now, if the shape is tilted at a little bit of an angle, that can make it a little bit harder to figure out because you can't just necessarily count. All right. When it's at an angle, we're going to have to figure out usually how long that is, and I'll show you how we do that. All right, so let's start with perimeter. All right, so it says the first one is a quadrilateral. All right. We don't know if it's any kind of special quadrilateral. It doesn't say it's a rectangle. It doesn't say it's like a trapezoid. All we know is it's a quadrilateral. So we have to find the length of each side. All right, how are we going to do that? So what we're going to do to find the length of each side, we can't just count. Right? If the shape looked more like this, let's say this was your shape, and it said to find the perimeter, well, that'd be easier. We could just count. It's 2 on that side, 4 on that side, another 2, and another 4. And then we just add all those numbers up. Okay, but these sides are at kind of an angle. So what we have to do, we'll have to do it 4 times unless we see some repeats, then we can reuse one of our answers. But you want to take each side, kind of make a triangle out of it. Okay. When I put that in, what kind of triangle did I just draw?
Right triangle.
A right triangle. Yep. And the 2 red sides are easy to find in that triangle because we can just count. How long is the bottom side in that red triangle? How long?
3.
3, yep. And how tall is the red triangle? 4. So we know 2 of the sides of this triangle right there. We're going to find that purple side now. In that triangle, the purple side has a special name because it's across from the 90. Does anybody remember what you call the name of the side across from a 90? The hypotenuse, yep. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to end up drawing 4 triangles, and we're going to find the hypotenuse of each one. Does anybody remember the name of the theorem you can use to find the hypotenuse of a right triangle?
Pythagorean.
What is it?
Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, the Pythagorean theorem. So if you've got a right triangle that looks, well, let's actually draw a triangle. Looks like that. Usually we label the sides A, B, and C. And does anybody remember what the formula is for Pythagorean theorem? Has to do with something squared. A few things squared. Yeah, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. So in our case, a and b are the 4 and the 3. They're the 2 what we call the legs, and we're going to solve for c, which is the hypotenuse. Okay. So if we fill them in, it doesn't matter which one is a and b. If you want to call this one a and call this side b, and then that side over there is c. So we've got 4 squared plus 3 squared. Can you please shut that for me, Wyatt? Thank you. 4 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. Darwin, what's 4 squared?
16.
16? Yep. And Isaac, what's 3 squared? So 3 times 3 gives me so if you add 3 to itself, what's 3 plus 3 plus 3?
9.
9. So again, 9 equals c squared. And Ellie, if we add those up, 16 plus 9 gives me how much? Yeah, 25. Now that's not c, that's c squared. So does anybody know how you get rid of squaring? Yeah?
You take the square root.
You take the square root. So take the square root of each side. The square and the square root cancel on the right, and you have c. And now the square root of 25 is 5. Yep. Okay. So now we know the length of this side is, I'm going to erase c, and I'm going to put 5. All right. Now, if we have another triangle in our picture that has a 3 and a 4, we don't have to go through the Pythagorean theorem again. We can just label that side as 5. Okay, so let's go over here, make a triangle. All right. And now let's see if we can reuse the same answer. How long is the top side of that blue triangle? 3? Yep. And how about the height of the blue triangle? 4. So this blue triangle is exactly the same as that one. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean that's always going to happen, but it did this time. Yep.
Trying to pull up in order.
Yep. So what's the length of this side right here? 5. Yep. Okay. So in terms of finding the perimeter, we've got, can you just sign out for me one time? Okay. We've got 2 sides. We got a 5 and we got a 5. Maybe if the top and bottom are the same, then that'll save us a little time as well. All right. For the bottom right side, okay, we're going to make another triangle. Okay, let's count how long the bottom side is. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the bottom side is 12. And the height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have to do Pythagorean theorem again. This time, though, instead of using a 4 and a 3, you're going to use a 5 and a 12. Okay. So can someone set up my Pythagorean theorem for me using 5 and 12? Yep.
5 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared.
Equals c squared. If you square 5, 5 times 5 gives you 25. And if you square 12, 12 times 12 is 144. If you use your calculator, which I'll have those out for you this week, 25 and 144
160.
adds up to 169. And that's a bigger number, so if you're not sure the square root, it does come out nice. Type in square root 169, and you get 13. So now we know this side is 13. Now, let's make a triangle on the top and hope it's a 5 and a 12 again, and then we can reuse that answer. So go up to there, over to there, and we got to do Pythagorean theorem one more time to get that last side. So we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, up 5. We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's a 5 and a 12 again, which means this the fourth side is how long? 13. All right. Now, once we know all the sides, we can figure out whatever they want us to know. In this case, perimeter. All right. If we add them all up, it's 5 plus 5 plus 13 plus 13. So the perimeter, 5 plus 5, 13 and 13 is 26. And then another 5 and a 5 is 10 more. So that's 36 units, and we always want to put a label if we have one. We don't. So I'm just going to put 36 units. Whatever, 36 inches, 36 centimeters, whatever the unit is. So that's how you find the perimeter. All right, let's try this one. So this one's a little bit quicker because you don't have as many sides. You only have 3 instead of 4. If I had any side that was already lined up, like if I had a triangle like this, that would make it a little easier. I could find the 2 horizontal and vertical sides quick. But I don't have any sides that are lined up, so I do have to do Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so make all your triangles. There's one. Like that. There's 2, and one more. Okay, so we'll end up doing Pythagorean theorem 3 times. Okay, start with the one in the upper left. 1, 2, 3. So it's up 4. The top side is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have we done Pythagorean theorem with a 4 and a 6 yet? No, so they're not going to be nice numbers this time. But when we do it out, we get 4 squared and 6 squared. And when you add 16 and 36, you get 52. And now when you take the square root of that, it's not a nice number. So if you don't get a nice number, what we'll do is we'll just round it to 2 decimal places. 7.21. So this side right here is 7.21. All right. And you'd continue doing that. You'd have to do it 2 more times. Maybe you'll get a triangle we already did on the first page and you can reuse it. If not, then you just have to do Pythagorean theorem. And just always round to 2 decimal places if you get a decimal. Okay. So any question on that one? All right. So I want to make sure we have enough time to do one of the area ones too. So perimeter, you don't really need any special formula. Okay. You just have to add up all the sides. But area is when you fill the shape in. Now, on the back, the first one at the top says area of what shape are we doing? Yeah, how do you know it's a square? It says it, yeah, right? It says you're finding the area of a square. If it didn't say square, we can't assume that green shape is a square unless we check it and make sure all the sides are the same. Right? But it says it's a square. So if you go to your MCAS reference sheet, right, there's different, actually did I already copy it? Oh, right here. There's different formulas. And here's the formula for area of a square. Area of a square, the S stands for side. It's side times side. Well, the nice thing is, once you know one side in the square, you know all the sides. They're all the same. So we're only going to have to do Pythagorean theorem 1 time. So let's make our triangle. Okay, and the bottom side is 1, 2, 3, 4. And the height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? And they're all going to be 8 and 4, no matter which side you find, because it's a square. All right, so we'll set up Pythagorean theorem. 8 squared plus 4 squared. And I'm trying to find the length of this side right here in my triangle. How much is 8 squared? Yep, 64. And how much is 16? 4 squared is 16. I'll give you that one. And when you add 64 and 16, how much do you get? 80. You get 80. And that's all we need, right? Because we want to know what is the side squared. That's the formula for the area. You don't actually need to know the side. You need the side to the second power to get the area. And that's what you have right there. That's the side to the second power. So you get an answer of 80. Okay, so area is 80. And the way you want to put your label, it's 80 square units. Okay, when you are doing area, it's different than length. It's whatever your units are squared. So if you were going to put down flooring in here and you were going to the store to buy it, the person at the store may ask you, how many square feet do you have of, tile that you need, square footage. That's how much you need to buy. In this case, we don't know if it's feet, inches, it's just square units. Okay. And if you didn't know that formula, again, if you go on Google, type in MCAT's reference sheet, you'll get that sheet. Okay. All the area formulas are on the left-hand side, pretty much right in that box. I think that's everything you would need. The circle formula, you'll notice it does appear twice. They have a special section for circle formulas, but they also put it over in the regular formulas too. All right, now let's try this one. Purple one says find the area of the shaded region. All right, so what shape is that purple area? What is it? It's a triangle. Yeah, it's a triangle. So they don't tell you it's a triangle. You need to know it's a triangle because it has 3 sides. So go to your formula and look up area of a triangle. It says area of a triangle is base times height times 1/2. I usually write it as 1/2 base times height. I like to put the 1/2 in front. They put it at the end. Doesn't matter. Okay. What's the length of my base in that purple triangle? 8. Yep. So 1/2 of 8. And what's the height of the purple triangle? 7. It's the height straight down. Right? And now we just multiply. 1/2 of 8 gives me 4. And what's 4 times 7? 28. And because it's area, what should I put for a label on that? Kilometers squared, because it's an area. Yep. All right, let's try another one. Okay, that shape in yellow. We're finding the area of the whole shape. Anybody know what kind of shape that is? Yep. So trapezoid usually has 1 pair of parallel sides and then 1 pair that are not, like that. It looks like in that one we have 2 pairs of parallel sides.
Parallelogram.
Yeah, I think that one it looks like a parallelogram. So let's try it that way. So I'm going to see, do they have a formula for area of a parallelogram? Yep. The area is the base times the height. Okay, let's look at our formula. Write it down. And it looks like the base here is 7, and the height is 9. So 7 times 9, that's it, 63 square yards. If you're ever not sure what kind of shape it is, you can always ask me and I can help you out. But the other reference sheet I found that one had pictures on it. So then you could kind of reference, okay, my shape looks like that. It's a parallelogram. And then trapezoid would look more like that. All right, let's look at the last one. It says find the missing length. Okay, what shape is that in blue? Triangle, yep. And do you think this problem has to do with area of a triangle or perimeter? Yep.
Area.
Yeah, because they're giving me area. So the shape is a triangle. The information they give me is area. Let's look up our formula for area of a triangle. Area of a triangle, right there. And I write it as 1/2 base times height. All right, so let's go back here. Now, this one's a little different. You are not finding the area. They're telling you the area. How much is the area? 24. So 24 goes in right there. 1/2. And what's the base of the triangle? They give me that as well. 8 feet. And what do they call the height of this triangle? They don't call it h. They called it y. Now we need to solve for y. What's 1/2 of 8 if we multiply those together? 4. And if you have 4 times y, how do you get rid of timesing by 4? Yep, divide by 4. So it's a little different. We're solving for y this time. And what's 24 divided by 4? 6. Yep. And that's 6. That's not an area. The area was 24. That's just 6 feet. That's the height of the height of the triangle. 6 feet. Right, so that's the kind of problems that you'll be doing this week with area and perimeter. So if you need any of those formulas, you can either go to the YouTube video and pause it right on that screen at the end, and you'll have all your formulas you need right there. Or go to Google and just search.